Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your December 2022 tarot card and astrology readings. Congratulations, we made it to December. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Jane, for those of you who are new. I am so grateful to have you here. So as always, these readings are separated into two segments. The first segment is going to be an intuitive tarot card reading, and the second segment is going to be an astrological prediction. So you're more than welcome to watch either segment first. All the timestamps are going to be found in the description box and the comment thread down below for easy access. You can watch for your sun, moon, or rising sign, although I do recommend watching your rising sign if you are concerned about having accurate house transit information. You can certainly watch for your Venus sign if you're here for love. And if you're interested in joining my Soul Seekers group, we would absolutely love to have you on there. Soul Seekers group is where I post exclusive content specifically geared for members, where we go more in depth on specific transits, and we have a little bit more educational information coming out on there as well. So please see the timestamps in the description box and the comment thread down below to jump to each segment of the reading. I hope you guys have an amazing December. You know I love you, and I'll see you in just a sec. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your December 2022 tarot card reading. So we are going to get started here with a card from my intuitive deck. So we're just going to open up the channel here, see what comes through and what you need to know here. I'm feeling the energy of like a burst of something. Like, it's like something that has been ruminating for a while is all of a sudden gonna burst. It's gonna go into a lot of different directions, which I think could be good. Like, you know, like if you're starting a new relationship, all of a sudden there can be a new adventure that you guys are going on. Or if you're starting a new business, all of a sudden things could really start to take off for you. I feel that there's an acceleration motion, which I think has been or is going to be quite invited. It's not going to be chaotic. I'm not sensing the energy of, you know, everything going in a million different directions. It's welcome, it's manageable, and it does seem to be something good. And it is coming from a place, excuse me, coming from a place where maybe you really didn't understand how all the pieces of the puzzle were going to fit, right? You didn't really understand the full picture. You didn't understand how things were going to really work out. And then all of a sudden, something shifts. It's just like one little thing changes direction, and you start to see things getting bigger and more abundant, and things are starting to work, and there's acceleration, and it just seems to be headed in a really positive direction for you, which is excellent. That's always good news to hear. I feel like there's the words writing on the wall is coming to my mind. Like, it's almost as though it was like written by the ancestors type of thing. It was prophesied by the ancestors. So there may be something that feels quite destined, but please do not confuse it. It's not like you getting together with your quote unquote twin flame and then it becomes this toxic thing, right? It's going to be positive in your life. It's going to instill growth. It's going to instill greater wealth and money and deeper love and all sorts of things. But it has been written for you is what I'm hearing. Something regarding your destiny or things that you are meant to be, you know, and I say that term a little bit loosely, but there is a fate component to it. Ooh, and we get the Lover's card, which of course is the Gemini card as well, which is fantastic. So what the universe needs from you, first of all, I'm sensing an energy of trust coming through. And there's also an energy of like really giving yourself to something here or to someone, especially if you are here for romance purposes. For you, romance may be a point of focus throughout December. Obviously, we have Sagittarius season, which is your opposite sign, activating your 7th house, which is the house of marriage. But it feels like you really are ready to throw yourself into something. Especially as something is accelerating, you're going to have to. It's kind of like that feeling, you know, when I don't know if you all relate to this or not, but that feeling like where you kind of fall in love sort of slowly day by day. And then it's like kind of you're getting there. And then all of a sudden it just happens all at once. It's kind of what I'm sensing. Something that has maybe been crawling along is all of a sudden moving at a full sprint, which is welcome because I think it's a little bit better for Gemini's pace. And I know that Mars retrograding in your sign probably has posed problematic to some degree. The good news is that it is in a positive aspect with Saturn, which is giving you an element of structure for everything. Ooh, and in the environment, we have the Page of Wands. This is, first of all, there's a quality of happiness and joy. She's dancing, throwing her wand up in the air, or maybe not dancing, but she's like leaping. There's a freedom component. Obviously, Sagittarius season is deeply linked with the theme of freedom. I don't necessarily know that this is another person so much as I see that there are infinite possibilities for you. And you're going to start to really see that as this burst, or this big kaboom in some area of your life. It's good, and you seem to be very open, and the environment is supporting your enthusiasm, and likely it is going to reinforce that a lot as well. It's nice when you feel happy about something and the universe is like, great, or people, the universe working through people say, oh, that's so great. I'm so happy you're happy. Well, let me buy that, or let me be a part of it. I want to support you in any way I can. And it's like, oh, there's that extra added boost with stuff. It can be really, really needed. But yeah, you're definitely giving yourself all the way in, Gemini, all the way into something. I think it feels good. If you have been sitting on the fence with something, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you haven't really been fully committed to something, and you make that decision and say, okay, this is really it, and it starts going well, it's like, okay, I made the right decision. A lot of confirmation that you will have made the right decision. Judgment. And another page. All right, so the pages have been coming out a lot. And I'm just getting a feeling that there are people around us right now that are helpful. Even here, even though I didn't talk about that with the Page of Wands, there's still a page in the environment. People are helpful. People are willing to assist you in some way. They are willing to offer you knowledge or to teach you something, or maybe to offer you a little bit of money to get started. They're willing to participate in what you have going on, because I think they can really see your passion. They can see that you're going all in, and they can tell, how this brings you to life. And I feel like Judgment, you're coming up out of the darkness. There's like a resurrection or a revival that is happening for Gemini. I actually think that's been happening for a lot of people. And maybe it has to do with the fact that Saturn is in his rulership, and he still is. I'm not saying he's leaving this month, but he still is in rulership. But because he has been in rulership for so long, he's been strong in the chart. And it's just like when Saturn is strong in the chart, things can go a little bit cold. And so if there is some aspect of your life that has gone cold, I feel like this is the month, fiery Sagittarius season. This is the last fire season, obviously, before we hit Aries season. And right around that time, between Pisces and Aries season, Saturn and Pluto are transitioning signs. And so like the trajectory between Sag and Aries, December and April, really is heating everything up, preparing for this transition. So there is a lot of heat that is starting to come back to life because it has been so icy cold for so long. So if there has been an area of your life that has been ridiculously stagnant, or like murky or confusing, or there hasn't been a lot of progress or a lot of abundance in that area, I feel that that is really starting to shift. And people are supportive of that. People are looking at you and they love you and they really do want to see you succeed in every way possible. And I think you're tired of having to be strong all the time. I think Gemini is really ready for things to go more easily. First of all, they don't want to self-sabotage themselves in any way, shape, or form. Like something like this feels so good. And when you feel that connection with someone or something, that feeling is just, it's not so much that it's this magical feeling because of them, but it's a magical feeling because of what is arising within you. It makes you want to be a better person. It makes you want to show up and work harder. And it makes you want to put your best foot forward every single day. And you're going to carry that into every area. You're going to walk into your job with that. You're going to walk into your family room with that. You're going to walk into your, the restaurant where all your friends are sitting at the table with that. And it's going to improve everything. And with the Six of Cups, there's like this sweetness, this gentleness. It's like people are wanting to be really kind with you so long as you're being kind with them. They want to, I often see like a sweetness or a gift being given. There's a quality of generosity with this. There is a, like, oh, I bought this for you just because I thought you'd like it. Have you ever been dating someone or a parent or a friend? They were like traveling or something and they came back, not with like a regular souvenir that they give someone else, but they really put thought into it and they walked into like a unique shop and they saw this and they thought of you and it was so special. I'm not saying they're going to buy you something, but I am saying that there's that type of consideration, all right? There's that type of mindfulness. And I think feeling that appreciation, Gemini, is going to fuel the fire even that much more. This is all probably the reason why it's accelerating so quickly, because you're getting reinforcement from a lot of different angles. Big part of this could be because Jupiter is in your 9th house in Pisces. Your 10th house in Pisces. And it's just people are gravitating toward you. They're enjoying you. They're enjoying what you're creating. And they feel an energy emitting from you that makes them feel better too. Knight of Wands. See, there's the fire. I actually think that's you. Well, it could be, it's an aspect of you and it's someone else. Let's say that, because I'm kind of getting both. It's an aspect of you and it's someone else. It's someone else because this is the card of Sagittarius and that is your opposite 7th house. So it does represent them. And I think maybe you're mirroring something with someone else. So in the case that it's your energy, and we'll get more information with the clarifiers at the end of the reading, or with the comprehensive clarifiers rather, but in the case that it is you, this is your fire. And I think this is a really fun card, It's like Gemini is starting to feel the excitement of life and the adventure of life. And maybe you're starting to treat it like an adventure. Maybe your confidence is getting a big boost and you're starting to feel more physically attractive. You're starting to feel more intelligent, and you just are holding yourself up in that regard. In the fact that it's someone else, I honestly don't even mind this. I don't think there's anything toxic about this at all. You may be attracting people who are also highly adventurous and people who are living life to the fullest. And these people may be potential romantic partners, as we see with the Lovers card, or they may just be really cool people that you get the pleasure of meeting. People with amazing stories and people who have accomplished incredible things and overcome all odds. And they found this freedom in their hearts. And there's something so like, it's like this insatiability, you just you can't get enough. You can't get enough of that aspect of yourself, and you can't get enough of that aspect in other people. Now, the moon has been coming out a lot this month for the signs. For me, it's speaking to this retention. The moon tends to to hold and lock in every single bit of information that we come across throughout this life. It remembers everything. And when it's coming out, I feel like there's like someone has this key, probably this guy has got a key to it, and something is coming out of this like vault. It's coming out for the sake of release, because it must be released in order for this big boom to really happen. In order for this burst of activity to occur in your life, something that had been holding you back, or something that was problematic, a trauma, a wound, a sadness, a fear, an anger, whatever it is, it was problematic, and it's ready. It's time for you to let it go. Like I say, there's something destined. It is written. It has been written for you, Gemini, that this is the month, this is the time. It is, not only is it Sagittarius season, but we do have 8th house activation for you as well, when Mercury, Venus, and eventually the Sun come into Capricorn. So it makes sense that something is coming up for transformation. It makes sense that something is coming up from the darkness, but it's not coming up so you can like dive deep into some dark night of the soul. It's coming up so you can feel free from it. But you don't feel free from it from psychoanalysis or, deep therapy or deep meditation. You actually feel free from it by enjoying your life. Like that's how you heal right now is by going and doing things you really love and putting yourself all into something and surrendering, and just like, it's like falling deeper in with love, all encompassing, with like falling deeper in love with life in an all-encompassing way. It's like you're romanticizing life itself. 10 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, 10 of Cups. It's about following your bliss. I'm not saying you can avoid your problems. I'm not saying to, not pay your bills because it doesn't feel good or whatever, but, on a daily basis, committing to something that is growing, committing to something that has a lot of potential. And not only that it has potential, but that it brings out the infinite limitlessness of yourself. And I feel like there's this whole shift, like you're all of a sudden seeing things in a completely new way. And you're sitting there, right? With judgment, it's really important that we practice good judgment. And we have to pay attention to how our minds are working. We have to pay attention to how our brains are directing the energy and how they are investing. Investing in, things that are heavy right now. I don't know that you're going to really see the profit from that, or the payout, or the result from that. It's the lightness that I'm sensing is really where the abundance is going to be for you. Now, eventually the darkness will come back, but not anytime soon. I think you've gone through enough of that. Will life be entirely perfect? No. But if you, on a consistent basis, say, where do I want to direct my mental energy today? Where do I want to direct my physical energy today? And if you continually practice good judgment, things will start to accelerate. Okay. Hold on. All right. So we have the Hierophant and the 3 of Coins. Well, I really like the Hierophant. He's been coming out a lot as well, and there's that connection with, I always say he's kind of our inner Buddha or our inner guru. He's the inner guardian, really, that keeps us completely and unwaveringly connected to God, right? The real truth, the real reality. He's the one that we can always come home to. There's a lot of sturdiness. And Gemini, I think you're just coming home, Like we are allowed to wander as far as we want to in this world. And we can wander into the darkness. We can wander into the pain. We can wander into the greed or anything, where there's so many different aspects. And we can, always just decide to come home. I think you're really ready to come home. And the acceleration is because this choice has undeniably been made. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind that, yes, you've made that decision, and you're either getting closer and closer and closer. It's like the closer and closer to that home base you get, the more acceleration something is going to have. So it kind of has that direct correlation there. And with the 3 of Coins, it tells me you're building something incredible. You could be in the design phase or the planning or strategy phase, which is great because when we hit Capricorn season and Aquarius, well, more Capricorn season being a cardinal season, there are going to be a lot of seeds that are going to need to get planted, even if they're just mental. In Aries, Taurus season, coming up, we'll have that opportunity to really nurture the seeds and make sure they have this great environment. But for now, the planning and the strategy is going to be really, really, really good. It's a good place to invest for you right now, for the sake of next year. Oh, whoops, hold on, that's the wrong deck. Okay, so now we're going to pull out the clarifiers. Now, these clarifiers we're going to talk about in the comprehensive reading. There are a few different ways to access that, and all that information is in the description box in the comment thread down below. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all of these cards, so you should be able to just make sure you choose the right one that works best for you. All right, so let's take a look at the Lovers here. What else do we need to know for Gemini? Okay. Well, there's the Gemini card, which I actually really like for you. I'm liking this guy this time. He always gives me extreme, he's either I really don't like him or I really love him. Right now, I actually really love him. Okay. All right, for the environment, what else does Gemini need to know for the environment for December 2022? It's fertile. The environment is fertile. You can plant whichever crops you want. The Hermit. And 10 of Swords. Okay. So now let's take a look here at the clarifiers. We're going to start with Strength Reverse. What else does Gemini need to know for December? We have the 2 of Wands. The Chariot. Ten of Coins reversed. Oh. 2 of Cups, the High Priestess. I love when the 2 of Cups comes out with the Lovers. Oh, with the 10 of Cups even. Beautiful. Ace of Wands reversed. Ooh, the Sun and the 5 of Coins. Nine of Cups on the 6 of Cups. Come on now, that's great. Page of Swords. And the 8 of Coins. 10 of Swords. Six of Swords. This Knight of Wands is so important in terms of it being an inspiration to you, being inspirational for how you want to live the rest of your life. There does seem to be some kind of a turning point happening now between Sagittarius season and Aries season. The choices that we make have profound impact. We want to make sure, right? Judgment. We're practicing good judgment. Hold on. What was that first card? I forgot. Oh, the Star. That's right. Okay. So that we set ourselves up for success. 10 of Cups. 2 of Swords. The Tower. Strength. Another strength card, but with the Hanged Man. Eight of Swords reversed. Ace of Cups. Seven of Swords and Queen of Wands. So this is where we're going to pick up. So again, all that info in the description box in the comment thread down below. Thank you all so much. You guys know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to the astrology portion of your December 2022 reading. So let's go ahead and take a look and do a quick rundown of all of the bigger transits and the dates associated with those transits. So before we get started with that though, it's Sagittarius season, okay? The sun is well on its way through Sagittarius, sitting at 9 degrees as of December 1st, which means there's a lot of opposition activation, and there has been really since the end of November. We still have Venus and Mercury in there, although within that first week and a half, these planets will be moving into Capricorn. So it does take a little bit of pressure off of that 7th house. But the good thing about having 7th house activation is the sun will tend to shine back at us. Now, sometimes that can be reflection of, information coming through the reflection of other people. Sometimes there can be a lot of focus on other people, especially if you're married. So maybe your partner has something going on for them and you're just kind of over here doing normal life. Whatever the case may be. But if it does shine back on you, you can receive a great deal of feedback regarding certain things, certain habits, certain behaviors, certain choices. And that information can be quite useful as you formulate your plan for next year. As you start thinking about what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, where you want to go, the people you want to associate with. There can be a lot of aha moments or light bulb moments that happen. That can be really, really positive. Because 7th house, to have a lot of a heavy gravity planet. Well, again, the sun's not really a planet. I know I always say that. But to have a heavy entity over here in the 7th house, for those of you who are single, it's likely that you are desiring to connect with someone in a deeper, more intimate and committed way. So if you're maybe kind of dating someone, chances are you might be wanting something more committed to take it to that next level, put a label on it, that kind of thing. But without losing your autonomy. I know that Mars over here in your sign is very self-focused. So you're not wanting to lose yourself. You're not wanting to completely self-sacrifice and surrender. I actually don't mind the Mars-Sun opposition all that much because to me, it feels really structured. To me, it feels like one person can have their sense of self and another person can have theirs. And if those two can have compatibility, or if they can work together or communicate well, then you both can accomplish your own ambitions together, and you don't have to sacrifice too much for the other person. It's like, I can have my stuff and you can have your stuff, which means together we have all of our stuff. So for those in relationships, the connection may be accentuated a little bit throughout Sagittarius season, and there may be a little bit of restructuring throughout this time as well. So anyway, so that's just the beginning. So the very first big transit that's going to occur is Neptune goes direct on December 3rd. Now, this is really, really, really important for you in terms of your career. Obviously, this is 10th house activity, your public life, your public reputation and whatnot. Now, when Neptune is retrograde, it tends to internalize that notion of boundlessness, meaning we get an opportunity to really get in tune with the unlimitedness or the limitlessness, if you will, of our own human potential. That the spirit is unbounded in all ways, shape, and form, right? There's no bounds whatsoever. But that internalization isn't necessarily that productive in the world, because it's like, okay, I know I have limitless human potential. Anything I set my mind to, I can do. Okay, that doesn't really mean a lot unless you actually do something about it. So when Neptune goes direct, we're going to start to see the opportunities and the limitlessness of the world start to open up for us. And so all this unlimited potential that we have, we can then express in the world in some way. And it can advance our careers, it can advance our ambitions, and it can accelerate our goals. Actually, for you, Gemini, the word accelerate did come out substantially for your tarot reading. So I do think your life is starting to accelerate in a highly positive way. Okay, so that's December 3rd, Neptune goes direct. December 6th, Mercury comes into Capricorn. This is 8th house activation for you. Your favorite. I know you're just so sick of 8th house activity already. So when Mercury comes in, now he's going to be doing a retrograde at the end of December. So he's going to kind of start slowing down, and he's going to go through a pre-shadow phase. So this may have a little bit of connection with your money or your spouse's money. If you're doing business with anyone, or if you have any legal contracts with someone, there may be some disruption with that as well. Obviously, 8th house is about shared resources or shared money. So there could be some disruption, although I don't think it's going to be huge. I don't know that this particular Mercury retrograde, I mean, I know it's in Capricorn and I know it's a Saturn ruled sign and everything. Mercury retrogrades tend to be really manageable, for the most part. So that's happening on the 6th. On the 7th, we have the full moon conjunct Mars. Now, this is going to be especially important for Geminis. Obviously, it's in your sign. Now, the moon is offering this beautiful light, right? As a full moon, there's illumination. And so we get to really see which direction we get to go. With Mars being involved, it's about let me set that target. Also Sagittarius with that hunter's bow and arrow. Where's the target? Where do I want to dedicate my energy to? Where does my investment need to go? Show me. And I feel like the universe, your soul, the world, whatever it is, it's going to show you where it is that you need to direct your attention in order for you to succeed the fastest. I don't know why speed has been coming out for me. It's become a theme throughout all the readings. It's like we're feeling like we're tired of sitting around waiting. We're tired of things just not happening. And we're starting to really want those material results. Like we want the money in the bank. We want the ring on our fingers. We want the promotion. We want the office with the windows. Like we want something to show for it. So if we're questioning, well, which direction do we go? Then this full moon conjunct Mars can be a fantastic opportunity for you to either take a big leap in a specific direction that you already know, or if you don't know, to ask. So universe, please show me. All right, because you're going to get that guidance, and you're going to need that guidance because that new moon in Capricorn is a little bit rough, looking a little rocky, okay? So anyway, that full moon is happening on the 7th, and then on the 9th, we have Venus coming into Capricorn. Now, I really want you to think back to January, February, and March of 2022 and what was going on in your life at that time. Because this is the first time that Venus is coming back into Capricorn since she retrograded in Capricorn at the beginning of this year. So she's kind of returning to that scene where she was massively humbled, I'm sure, in some way, shape, or form. Now, not everyone had bad things happen, okay? I'm not saying that everyone had something terrible going on. But there's something carrying over, and we're receiving some kind of closure because she gets to come back to Capricorn with her head held high and a sense of pride and a sense of honor and dignity, and saying, look, Capricorn, I did it. Maybe you thought I couldn't do it, but I did it. And look at what I have to show for it. Look at how far I've come. Look at what I've learned. Look at how everything has seemed to work out just fine. So there does seem to be some kind of proof, you're proving to yourself or to someone else that you're just how capable and limitless you actually are. Nothing can hold you down. Nothing can hold you back. And nothing is going to prevent you from building this incredible life that you have going on up here. Okay? Now, that happens on the 9th, so we don't really have any substantial stuff happening until the 20th, which is when Jupiter comes back into Aries. So Jupiter comes into Aries and it's going to activate your 11th house. There is likely to be some kind of a social component. It's going to be so critical that you choose proactively which people are worth spending time with and which people are not. I'm not saying that people are better than other people. It's just there are people who are running parallel or have the same goals or who have already accomplished the things that you're wanting to do that can help lift you up rather than people that are going to keep you stuck. So choosing relationships right now, especially in the first part of 2023, is going to be massively important. And it may be hard because maybe you're going to need to leave some people behind or, just kind of turn people down for dinner on invites or going out for drinks or whatever. You may need to turn people down. But if that means that you get to dedicate something that's more beneficial for you, then that's great. Okay, now I'm not saying that every person has to have some kind of financial or professional benefit. There are also people that just make you laugh like crazy and people that, make you feel alive and who give you that, sense of electricity and that energy. That is also good stuff. But I don't want you to be hanging out with your mopey friends who are complainy and whiny and who are not it's just like they're just like complete victims of their circumstances and they have absolutely no desire to do anything about it. Those people are going to be more challenging and it's going to hinder the acceleration that is highly likely for you at this time. All right, so choose the connections wisely. And then, so that's on the 20th, and then on the 21st, we're going to have the sun coming into Capricorn as well. So we're going to have the sun, Venus, and Mercury in Capricorn at the beginning of Capricorn season. Well, also Pluto. Okay. Now, when the sun comes in, the next couple days on the 23rd, we're going to have that new moon in Capricorn. So remember, the 21st is in the northern hemisphere. It's the winter solstice, which means that the darkness starts to decrease. It's still the longest night of the year, but it does start to decrease throughout Capricorn season, and the light starts to get longer. So there's kind of this, change of direction there. From between Sagittarius season and Capricorn season, there is a big shift that occurs. And the new moon, now the moon is going to be in detriment, right? It's the ruler of Cancer, so it's weakened in Capricorn. And it's also happening in the Saturnian decan of Capricorn as well at 1 degree. Now this is using modern decan rulerships, okay? And the Saturnine influence there can feel like a devil on your shoulders. And because this is 8th house, it can be a little bit more destructive. So all the positivity and the optimism and the hope of the big action that you either are taking or are trying to figure out which to take, there's great alignment with that full moon on the 7th. But at the 2 weeks following, as the moon wanes, there's a lot of opportunity for you to go back on yourself and question and potentially self-sabotage yourself. And this new moon, because it is so dark, it kind of is very tempting. There's a temptation nature with that. Tempting to just quit, tempting to not believe in yourself, tempting to cave. So it really is only the people who are strong-willed that will be able to continue that optimism that was set forth with the full moon. Okay? So you have to do it with conscious effort, because not only is that new moon happening on the 23rd, but Chiron is going direct on the 23rd as well. So Chiron is a planet of wounding. It's a planet of pain. It is a planet of trauma. And if we are experiencing an effect with that, and a dark moon or a new moon, right? From a dark moon into a new moon, it just can feel kind of emotionally soggy, I guess we could call it. It's soggy, and it has a potency to it that can feel draining. If you start to internalize a lot of the insecurities that might be surfacing during this time, chances are you are going to shoot yourself in the foot. Now, you can feel those feelings and you can have those thoughts, but the people who have done the work know that just because you have a feeling and just because you have a thought does not mean that you have to be owned by them. And a Mars in the first house is not owned by anybody. He's a rebel. Okay, he does not let anyone have dominance over him, ever. So you kind of have that advantage with this transit, which is good. And so when Chiron goes direct on that same day as that new moon, it could be a really weird couple of days, probably leading up to it. Last couple days of Sagittarius season and on into Capricorn season as that moon starts to get darker and darker and Chiron is basically standing still. So just be prepared for any negativity that comes in up here to just transcend it as best you can. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you can at least just observe yourself having those thoughts and feelings, that moment will pass. And you'll still be able to be productive afterwards. It's not going to completely throw a wrench in your spokes. Okay? And then, of course, on the 29th at 24 degrees, that's when Mercury is going to go retrograde. So just a few days, a week after that new moon and whatnot. And it's going to be probably a pretty industrious Mercury. Saturn is going to be like, okay, work harder, work harder, work harder. And it is going to bring some degree of order to the mercurial chaos in our lives. I am starting to associate Mercury with more chaos. The more and more I learn about it, I'm like, wow, Mercury is like a little like elf or a fairy coming into our lives and creating all sorts of weirdness. Like there can be so much great stuff, but he can create a lot of like disruption in his own unique, silly, mischievous kind of way. And so when Saturn is involved, he does have to play by Saturn's rules. He's in Saturn's domicile here, so he can't really mess around here because Saturn won't let him. He can mess around a little bit in Sag and in Pisces and Virgo, Gemini, some of the other signs. He can be more playful, but not in Capricorn. All right, so this is a time of order and structure and development of systems and being able to architect or put together these blueprints. I don't know what the verb form of architect is, to design a new blueprint for your journey. Okay, that'll come in more next year as we begin the January readings. All right, Gemini, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love and adore you. Have an amazing December, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.